it doesn't take that many people to achieve something. If you've got 3 or 4 people around you that will be in the mud with you together, one, then the mud's not so bad.
No.
And 2, you can conquer the world. You don't need that many people. You need just a core group of folks that have your back and you have theirs.
Welcome to the Workmatters Podcast, where you will hear real-life stories from everyday people in different roles and industries share the challenges of practically integrating their faith and work. Each week together, we'll wrestle over what God is doing in us and with us while we work. So let's dive in. Well, today, Keisha and I have the privilege of getting to spend time with a good friend of mine, Nick Morgan. Nick, we're glad to have you.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here.
Nick is a really neat guy. His life is an amazing story of redemption and hard work and intentionality, as well as a heart for others. Nick's an owner-operator of 8 Jersey Mikes with 12 more in development and was featured as an Arkansas 40 under 40. Nick is a combat veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. He loves owning a company where he can support local communities by creating jobs, mentoring his employees, and encouraging charitable giving through servant leadership inside the 4 walls of his restaurant, as he says, one sub at a time. I know Nick has a heart for Africa because we spent time together in Africa. You traveled there last summer. It was awesome.
That was an amazing experience.
It was an amazing experience. In Uganda, encouraging entrepreneurs to integrate their faith and work. Nick's also a loving husband to Megan and a fun father to Davis and Nolan.
That's right.
Did I leave anything out?
I don't think you did. I think you nailed it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I want our listeners to get to know you a little bit before we dive into some of the restaurant redemptive work that you're doing. So just talk us through childhood. Like, what was your childhood like? And then how did you get into the military?
Yeah, sure. Childhood was probably typical to a lot of people. You know, you've got your brothers and sisters and you're all just trying to survive and you know, have fun as a kid, but also, you know, helping out when you can. And for me personally, just early in life, I just knew I needed to help people even as a kid. And that kind of led me to the rest of your question there, where the military and other challenges I've taken on in my life of really just trying to put myself out there and not being afraid to fail and leaning into challenges, leaning into opportunities, and making opportunities out of nothing. So while I'm very appreciative of my childhood and it made me who I am, it wasn't exactly an easy childhood, but it wasn't. There's plenty of people that have it worse than I did, for sure. And I'm very aware of that. So for me, I just think I had an obligation to take every step I could to make the most of what I had in front of me.
Yeah. You and I visited a little bit, and you've told me some stories about your childhood where there were times where you guys really struggled financially and struggled with like even clothing and shoes. And I remember you told me that one story. There was...
Yeah, we were I don't want to say we were in poverty, but we definitely struggled. You know, I can remember standing in the food line with my great grandmother, my mom B, when the government still gave you literal peanut butter and cheese in Little Rock, and I was very aware, maybe probably before I should have been aware of the financial struggles that my family faced, and knowing that. Even then, though, the story you're referencing was we were at either Kroger or Walmart. I was at a supermarket at this point. I don't really remember what store it was, but there was a little kid behind me, similar age, 6 or 7, and he had holes in his shoes. And I asked my mom. I said, "Mom, that little boy I can see his toes." And she said, "Yeah, buddy. Sometimes mom and daddies can't get shoes for their kids." And it was at that moment, that early of an age, it just clicked with me that. As much as I saw my mom struggle and was aware of our family's struggles, I was like, wow, there's kids that don't even have shoes, but I knew I had shoes, and it just stayed with me. And then I found over my life those little those little instances continued to happen, just little one-offs that made those impressions, and really by the grace of God, being aware enough to see those when they happened, and kind of journaling it to yourself, right? Like making a mental note, like, and practicing that gratefulness of it. I didn't even know it was gratefulness then. You know, I didn't know what that word was. Yeah. But so yeah, that's the story you're talking about. That made a big impression on me at 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, and that carried with you. Just our friendship, knowing you, I know that you just really have a heart for compassion and a heart to want to help and serve those that are in need. And I wonder if God maybe put that in you early on by seeing that, and then that would make sense. And then, so how do you get into you eventually moved to the military with that?
I did. Throughout the rest of my childhood, you know, being the kid at school that look, I'm 5'8" maybe. You know, I wasn't overly athletic or anything. I was more of the funny kid, or I wasn't the popular kid. I was just in the middle, right? But I remember trying to stick up for the kids that were getting picked on, even if it meant I was about to get picked on, which was fine. I just never, man, I knew what it felt like not to have. Yeah. And I don't want other people to feel that way. And now carry that forward through Boy Scouts, and then ultimately joining the military. I was 17, and I didn't daydream about being in the military or anything. It wasn't something that was even on my radar. But you know, the recruiter comes to your school, you take the test, and I always make a joke. I was like, well, at the time, I didn't realize I'd scored high enough to go to anything. They would have sent me to med school on, you know, my ASVAB score. But I was like, yeah, let's do the infantry, because you're signing up with your buddies. And so we, you know, there's a lot of kids off of our high school football team. We signed up together and went to basic training together between our junior and senior year. And it's called the buddy program, or split op training. And then you come back, you do your senior high of high school. And then when you graduate, you go on to AIT, which is your advanced individual training, where you learn your job skill, your MOS, which in case of being an infantry guy, it's just basic training all over again.
Wow.
But that gave me the ability, though, I'm very happy that I did that. Again, a blessing from God that was, I didn't expect it to come. It literally, just one day I came home and said, hey, Mom, I need you to sign some papers. I'm going to join the military. And because I was 17, I was still a minor. But those next 8 years heavily influenced my life as well, by putting me in front of strong men, strong role models, learning to believe in yourself, learning that no matter, I call it being in the mud together. You really learn how to be in the mud together, and you really learn how to trust that person to your left or right. And it was then, even though I didn't know what I was going to be doing as an adult, I was like, wow, it doesn't take that many people to achieve something. If you've got 3 or 4 people around you that will be in the mud with you together, one, then the mud's not so bad.
No.
And 2, you can conquer the world. You don't need that many people. You just need just a core group of folks that have your back and you have theirs.
And be in the mud.
And be in the mud.
That phrase.
Just be in the mud.
Be in the mud.
Yeah.
You know, from where I'm sitting, you going into the military seemed like it would be a natural next step because of your childhood experiences being an advocate and defender of other people. And so just being a part of the military, it seems like it was a time in your life where that was actually brought out more to the forefront, where you could actually see, oh, this is like a part of who I am naturally.
Yeah, it did. I think it highlighted some of that, and back to the point of making it, or it helping me believe more in myself, or understanding that, I mean, look, especially particularly basic, you're supposed to fail, right? It's set up for you to fail. They break you down intentionally. And I was a young man. This was, I mean, I was in basic training in 1996. So however many years, was that 30 years almost?
Yeah.
So you learned, especially coming from my childhood, it wasn't like I never played catch with my dad, or I never had, it was survival mode. So no disrespect towards my mom, and I love her to death. She was surviving.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was no thriving. There was no, it was very hand to mouth. So when you go into the military and you're in that structure of intentional failure, and I had to learn it's okay to fail.
Wow.
Because as a kid, if you failed, that meant you didn't eat. Or it meant you were moving again and changing schools again and learning, having to make new friends again. But even at that point, all those things, I believe those were from God, because it created who I am, where I'm comfortable talking to anyone, because I had to talk to anyone. I was always changing environments. So it made me very comfortable being around a CEO or being around, I don't even, like a totem pole of people, you know what I mean? No, not like that, but you know what I mean?
Like, I get what you're saying. Anybody.
Literally anybody. So that's me. I'm anybody.
Yeah. I love that. So the Iraqi, Operation Iraqi Freedom, you're over there.
Yeah.
What was that like? I know you had a translator while you were there.
Yeah, that was another big experience. So, and by no means am I a war hero or anything like that. I'm not. I was just a regular grunt. I'm not special. I think I was 24 when we went overseas. I think I was 23 and I had a birthday. You get to Baghdad and you're in front of 5 million people that just want an opportunity. And you're coming from America, and you get there, and it was they view you as Iron Man or Superman, or it's Enrique, and they love you, and they're bringing you. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. Kind of like when we were in Uganda, yet they will give you everything. And it really showed me, even I was 24, I think, like I said, I was like, wow, like I have a moral obligation when I get home to, I don't know what it's going to be. It ultimately ended up being restaurants, but I've got to do something with the talent that God has blessed me with, but more importantly, the spot where God chose for me to be born. I didn't choose to be born in America. But we were, right? Yeah. So to me, when you see that, and these kids, they've never even seen grass.
Wow.
They can't go to the market without fear of being blown up. Like, terrible things. So while I was there, one of our translators, you have a bunch of translators that are embedded with you. One I particularly bonded with, and I had told him, hey man, when we go home, and I've got a picture of my last day in Iraq with me and him hanging out at one of the checkpoints. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get you and your family to America, because you kept me alive. You kept me alive for 12 months.
Wow.
I'm going to get you and your family to America to give you the same opportunity. So I came home, and for 4 years, I wrote letters to the DOD, other governmental agencies, charities that were trying to help people immigrate, et cetera. And then ultimately, after 4 years, I was actually going to sign back up into the military. And the month I was signing those papers, I got a call randomly from the State Department and said, Mr. Morgan, you've been awarded sponsorship of Shamil and his family.
Wow.
And by the way, we're dropping them off at Little Rock International Airport at 10 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Here you go.
Wow.
And they literally drop shipped them into Little Rock and say good luck.
Yeah.
And so we brought them into our home and helped them get enrolled in school and all of that. Now fast forward, that was 2009. They lived with us for a year in Cabot. I was real popular then because you can imagine dropping at that particular time in America, dropping a Muslim family into Cabot, Arkansas.
Oh, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
People looked at me oddly, but again, I leaned into it. I said, no, these are good people. I know they don't look like us. It's fine. This guy kept me alive. This is my brother. He goes by John Deere because they all pick an American name. So that's what he wanted to be named. So that's his name.
Okay.
And now, fast forward, because his kids were 7th grade, 3rd grade, I think 5th grade when they came. His daughter just graduated dental school, I think in University of West Michigan. And both of his sons are studying IT. So they've literally lived the American dream, and they came here with quite literally nothing.
Wow.
So, just another instance of leaning in, not knowing. I say yes a lot before I have any idea how I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
That seems to work for me.
Just say yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Just say yes.
Just say yes, and then
we'll figure it out. I'd like to recognize and thank Simmons Foods, Inc. for being our exclusive sponsor for this season of the Work Matters podcast. Their generosity is making this new season of meaningful content and inspiring guests possible. We hope people are encouraged to see work as a place where God shapes them more into His image in their work, at their work, and through their work. Simmons Foods, Inc. is a family-owned and led company based in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, supplying poultry, pet, and animal nutrition products to customers in all 50 states and more than 40 countries around the world. Please visit simmonsfoods.com to learn more about our wonderful sponsor. Thank you. You fast forward, which, by the way, that story, just aligns with everything you've talked about in your childhood and what God has placed inside of you for people. So fast forward, you get to J.B. Hunt. You get a job at J.B. Hunt.
Yeah.
You're at J.B. Hunt, and it's great company, great organization, but there's something going on inside of you, and you meet somebody.
Yeah, so when I got home from Iraq, I was in my mid-20s. I started building towers, was building cell phone towers, and I met a gentleman through a tailgate, just watching the Razorbacks together. We tailgated for a few years together, and it was just tailgate talk. Like, I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. I'm from Little Rock. I don't know anybody up here. I'm driving. I'm still living in Little Rock at that point. And fast forward a few years, and he asked what I do, and I said, I build cell phone towers. And I said, what do you do? He said, well, I'm the CEO of J.B. Hunt. And it was Kirk Thompson. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. But we had become friends through tailgating. I think a big piece of it, and not just me, it was a group of us, because he's just Kirk to us. We didn't want anything.
You didn't know him as a CEO.
Yeah, we didn't need anything from him. And not just a CEO of a really large company. And ultimately, he asked me to come work for him. And it took me about a year, and I finally decided to move up. And I just came home from work one day and told my wife, I said, hey, I quit my job today. And she said, what? And so just like joining the military on a whim, or all these other decisions I made where I just jump in. But to the point of saying my childhood was a blessing, it made me have a really high risk tolerance because you didn't have a choice. So I learned how to tolerate risk. And so now I can try to leverage that. And she said, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to go work for Kirk. She said, what are you going to be doing? I said, I don't know. She said, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. How many CEOs do you know? I don't know any. Honey, you more than anybody know my background. I don't know anyone. So we moved up and took a 50% pay cut. All my friends and family thought I was crazy, but I said, it's going to work out. We'll figure it out. And that's not a shot at J.B. Hunt. That was just sure. More, hey, don't be scared. Just take the opportunity. You'll figure it out. So we moved up in 2010 and started working for J.B. Hunt. And then 2 years into that, a wonderful organization, great people. I still talk to a lot of people that I work there with. But after 2 years, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, how long have you been in that cubicle? Like 18 years. How long have you been in that cubicle? 15, 16, 12, 8, whatever. For a lot of people, that works, and that's good. Again, I have a very high risk tolerance. Also now having children, I didn't have children until I was in my 40s. I didn't have kids. So I also didn't have that risk. So I've got to be aware of that. So your mileage may vary. So I'm not giving advice. I'm just telling my story.
Mileage may vary. Yeah.
Sure.
It's that just wasn't for me. And I wasn't leading. I wasn't able to really fulfill what I feel like I was being called to do, which was lead, influence, mentor. I didn't have that opportunity there. Not because of J.B. Hunt. Just that's just the nature of it. And in the position I was in, he didn't open a door for me and put me in an executive position. I started off in a entry-level position at J.B. Hunt, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that math, and I'm going, man, 18 more years. I'm not waiting 18 years for me to be able to have a team.
Right.
Like I want to lead again. And I was a team leader in the military. It means I had 3 people with me. I wasn't a platoon sergeant or nothing like that. I had 3 dudes. We had a Humvee, and it was us.
Yeah.
So, but even that, if it was just 3 people, I needed people under my wing. I want to nurture someone. And so I was like, okay, got a high risk tolerance. I had piddled with being an entrepreneur in my 20s when I'd gotten out of the military and had some little side hustles, things and whatnot. But I said, okay, well, let me really think about this. And that led me into the restaurant business in the sense of, I said, okay, well, I know how to run systems from my military days. I know how to lead young adults. I connect with young people. And more particular, I connect with people from rougher backgrounds, which generally that's what the restaurant industry attracts, because that's me. And I said, well, I'm going to open a restaurant, but I don't want to make a menu. I'm not a cook. I love to cook, but I can't develop a menu and a kitchen and all that. I don't have that skill set. So franchising. And I didn't have a clue. But again, God led me to J.B. Hunt. I'm planting flowers outside of my house. This is all going to make sense. In March of 2012, and a new neighbor moves in and gives me his resume. I take it, and I was like, oh, man, you own some Marco's Pizzas. Because he wants me to pass his resume around. I said, man, that's a J.B. Hunt account. We just ordered some refrigerated equipment for y'all. We're the tractor trailer that brings your product to you. Tell me about it. So he tells me about the stores he owned in Georgia. And I said, man, you think I'd be good at that? He's like, I think you'd crush it. I said, okay. So I put together a business plan and I sent it to Kirk, the only person at that time in my life that I knew what a P&L was or a Performa or anything like that. And so I sent it to him. He kept it and he said, man, I don't know why you don't go chase it. And I said, oh, awesome. So I said, well, now I need to get some money. I don't have any money. He's like, we'll talk to these folks over here at Arbest. So he makes the introduction for me. I go and present. They said, hey, you crushed it. You did a really good job. You came here very prepared. Like you said, it's more looking sharp.
Yeah.
But we can't loan you that money. You have no collateral. You're 32. You have no net worth. It's like, yeah. I said, all right. The piece of that I left out too was right when I moved here to go to work for J.B. Hunt, my father died. And that was another big catalyst because my brothers who now work with me were 17 and 11 when our dad died. And I was 30. And their mom, who now lives here with one of my brothers, and really we all live across the street from one another. So she was a lunch lady. So she's in service. She serves people. She's a servant leader. At the same time, that's hard to support children on a lunch lady's salary because she worked at their school.
Okay.
So I was like, man, it was on me. I was like, man, I've got to pick up these pieces and I've got to do something for my brothers or they're going to, I made it out, but they're going to get stuck if I don't do something. So that was another big push for those 2 years I was at J.B. Hunt, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And so back to Arbest, I present. They said, we can't loan you that money. I said, well, that's what I figured. So I sent Kirk an email. Hey, thanks for the introduction. Arbest told me no. No problem. I thank you for the opportunity to keep working at J.B. Hunt. I appreciate it. You tell me what you need done, and I'll do it. And Kirk wrote back, and he said, I already knew what they were going to say. I just wanted to see how well you'd present.
Wow.
He said, I'll loan you that money.
Wow.
I need it. And he said, how much do you need? I said, well, I need $200,000. And that might as well have been 20 million.
Right.
Like, it was really 300, but I borrowed 2. And I was like, Kirk, I can't take that money. Like, there's no way. And he said, no, and at 32 years old, this is the first time anybody had said this to me. He said, I believe in you.
I believe in you.
And it just landed. And I said, man, I don't have a choice. Like, I've got to do this. And so just like when I joined the military, just like when I quit my job to come to work at JB Hunt, I put in my notice at Hunt. Again, your mileage may vary. Discuss things with your wife first. I came home, told my wife, hey, I quit my job today. And she said, what are you talking about? You already took a 50% pay cut. I said, no, now I'm taking a 100% pay cut. I don't make any money. We're going to open a pizza shop. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, Kurt, again, how many people do you know are going to invest in us? This is amazing. And so it's not it's really hard to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. If you bend over, pull your own ankles, you're going to fall over. So I'm not a self-made person by any means. Yeah. At the same time, you have to be aware enough to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. Yeah. Carry your way in a manner that opportunities are going to happen. And then just keep swimming.
Yeah. So I know you got into Marco's and that went great. And then you transitioned over to Jersey Mike's and you've gotten up now to 8 stores. You've got 12 more stores coming. But I love the way you love your employees. And I want to talk about that because I went with the rest of our time. You do redemptive business. You do redemptive work. You honor God by the way that you love your employees. Talk about some of the ways that you love your employees. Talk about some of the redemptive work that you do at Jersey Mike's for your people.
Yeah, I appreciate those kind words. Even at Marco's and at Jersey Mike's, the reason I left corporate America, again, not JB Hunt, just corporate America in general, there's certain sacrifices you have to make that I'm not willing to make. And so with my people, there is no business without your people.
Right.
That's all.
It's all about people.
It's people, product, profit, in that order, every time.
Yeah.
And so you want some specific instances of what we do?
Because you're a practitioner. So rubber meets road with you.
Yeah. Now, for a restaurant, I'm proud of this. A real simple thing we do, and I encourage other restaurants or small entrepreneurs to do this. It pays off, and we offer paid maternity leave for our expecting mothers, and when they have their child, they can go and be out 6, 8, 12 weeks, whatever, and we'll pay them 50% of their pay, of their average pay that they were getting while they're out, and then if they return to work, we'll give them that other 50%, so that they were made whole during that time they were gone.
Wow.
So that because the restaurant industry doesn't have to be, there's all these negative connotations about working in a restaurant. I remember growing up, and it was, you don't want to be flipping burgers. Why not? Why not? So we create operating partners out of our young leaders. Matthew is 26, I think now. I think he just turned 26. He's worked for me since he was barely 18. He owns 10% of 2 stores.
Wow.
For sweat equity. The same thing Kirk did for me. So you're a new hire. These are all simple things. They're all so easy to do. And I'm sure other people do them, but you're a new hire and we come in and, hey, this is a uniform standard. I understand that maybe you don't have the money to go buy even a pair of Navy slacks. So what do? You go buy that. Hey, come with me. And we take them and we buy them the clothes they need. I mean, we give them the shirt,
Sure.
the uniform shirts and hats.
But they have to supply their own pants.
Yeah.
And if they can't, you're taking them.
We'll take them to Walmart or Kohl's or Target, wherever. You need a belt? And I my brothers as well. Like, here's belts. Or to man, it's all of it. Those are my kids, and those are my brothers, and those are my sisters. Even if they're the same age as me, you're still my kid. Like you work here. I encourage every entrepreneur or corporate American employee. It doesn't matter. Take care of your people. You have to.
Yeah.
To unlimited PTO for our GMs. I know you have a life outside of these four walls. I want you to live your life outside of these four walls. Go take care of your family. Go to your kids' football games. Go to your daughter or son's recital. I expect you to be there, actually. You need to be there.
You also, and I know you also, regardless of where they are, what level they are in your organization, you have them, you do a book thing every quarter.
Yeah.
You're investing in them. You're helping develop them
that's
as well.
the other aspect. I didn't think about it from that perspective. We have a quarterly book that we read, leadership book, and they're usually fairly easy reads intentionally so that we get more buy-in and curate that curiosity and that learning atmosphere. So we just got finished reading Who Moved My Cheese.
Okay.
To really introduce them into that. We have leadership summits twice a year. We throw a big Christmas party where we shut down all of our stores, which Jersey Mike's doesn't like, but they let us do it. So thank you. We shut them down for a day and we bring everybody in. We'll have 200 people there this year. And it's an award show. It's fully catered. It's not just, there's the joke about, a company pizza party. No, it's fully catered. We serve them because you served people. You served your community all year. So we serve them. And then we give away some really, you're going to get a 7-day cruise. Somebody's getting a 70-inch TV. Somebody's getting 2 weeks of paid PTO. Somebody's getting, I learned that from my boss at JB Hunt, from Gary, where there was the Christmas party they used to throw in maintenance. That's where I worked at JB Hunt. And he had told me, because he's like, hey, go buy these gifts. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. And he was like, a lot of these folks will never be able to buy this stuff on their own.
Wow.
So let them feel special.
Wow. Go
buy it and give it to them.
Yeah. I love that.
And so I carried that over. Just things, we sent them to leadership training in New Jersey for a week, which is a phenomenal class with Coach Hughes up there. But we pay for them to stay up there. It's most times first time they ever left the state.
Wow.
They get to go there, and we send them to New York City for the night to go get dinner and just things like that to really influence them and show them, hey, one, you matter.
Yeah.
But two, you're worth it. And then 3, the world's a really big place.
Yeah.
So keep working hard, and other doors are going to open up for you.
Yeah. I think because you see people so well that you're able to serve them more holistically. It's not just, I'm going to give you a job. That should be enough. No, I'm going to give you a job. Maybe you don't have the slacks. I'm going to help you get the slack that you need to be successful in the position. What in that generosity and being able to see people so well and serve people, what has God done in you in being able to serve other people so holistically and so well?
Really what God has blessed me more. That's a tough one. More than I deserve. For sure. That's probably why I try to give everything away all the time. But that's a therapist question.
Welcome to the couch.
But he's
right.
God has blessed me with a family. He's blessed me with an ability to provide for that family. I never thought I'd have kids. Didn't have kids till I was 41. Blessed me with a wonderful wife. He's blessed me with the ability, not only my family and my 4 walls, meaning my personal home, but my team is my family. And I know it's a trope, right? Oh, we're a family business. Yeah. My brothers work with me. They both came on board. And they one started off as a pizza delivery driver, and one started off as a crew member making sandwiches. So you're going to start off on the bottom, and you're going to work your way up. You're going to show that you want to be here. There's no easy pass. But now I see their families, and I mentioned earlier, we all live across the street from one another.
Yeah.
We're 3 decades apart. I'm in my mid-40s, one's in his mid-30s, and one's in his mid-20s. And yet we all ended up having kids at the same time. So there's 6 cousins all the same age, 3 and 4. There's one's 8, and then the other 5 are 3 and 4. We get to work together every day. We get to see. Man, it sounds silly. We escaped. We made it out.
Wow.
And so I want to reach back down, just like I did with Shamil, and pull as many people out with me.
Wow.
And I'm not going to be able to get them all, but I'm going to get as many of them as I can.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, God's blessed me with that. It's a vehicle. The business is a vehicle to be able to do that.
Yeah, I love that. Nick, thanks for our time. For our listeners, regardless of the industry that you find yourself, you can do redemptive work right there. You can show people that they're valuable, that their work matters, that they have dignity. You can help pull people up of a impoverished position. You can help people get out of a hole where they find themselves. And I mean, your story is a great example of that. So to wrap up, Nick, I just want to thank you for our time together.
You're welcome.
I want our people just get to know you a little more. I think they got to know you really well. So here, I got 3 final questions for you. These are quick answers. You ready?
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it.
What's your favorite Jersey Mike's sandwich?
A 17, which is the Philly cheesesteak, add lettuce, tomato, and pickle.
Gosh, okay, mine's the chicken Philly. What number is that?
16.
It's 16. Okay, that's my favorite.
Okay.
All right, favorite animal you saw on our trip to Africa?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I'm pretty partial to warthogs. I like them.
Okay.
I was Pumbaa in my senior year choir concert, and I got stage fright and didn't sing, so I just stood up there while my friend danced like Timon. They were pretty cool. And then,
That's awesome.
probably that elephant that came out on the the Nile.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. All right, who's the better athlete? You say you work with your brothers. Who's the better athlete, you or Zach?
Oh, by far Zach. He played college basketball.
Yeah. I knew Zach would be watching this, so I'm giving a shout out to Zach. I knew it, buddy.
I can slap pizzas faster than him, and I can grill faster than him. He'll slice faster than me, and then he runs ultra marathons and things like that. So he's got me on the athletic side.
He's got you. Okay. Well, I had to give a shout out to Zach. He's my buddy.
That's fair.
He's my buddy. Nick, thank you so much. This was an incredible conversation. We praise God for your story and the redemptive work that you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So thanks for being a part of this. If you want to see Nick, you want to see Zach, go to a Jersey Mike's, especially in the Northwest Arkansas area. The Bentonville location is awesome and amazing. And also, we talked about Africa. You're a supporter in Africa. If you want to also jump in with Zach and Nick with supporting their work in Africa, go to AfricanRenewal.org, AfricanRenewal.org. Again, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining the Workmatters Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to get notifications when we launch new episodes. Start living out your faith through your work in practical ways by starting the Workmatters Institute online today. You can do this and learn more about upcoming forums, webinars, and conferences by visiting workmatters.org.